What's going on, guys? This is Romano with Broken Buttons with another Mario Maker tutorial. And real quick, before we start, let me address stuff going on with the channel. I'm gonna be doing these regularly. If you sent me levels for critiques, I'm going to do that episode that should be out on Thursday. Because I'm going to try and do about 2 per episode. Because I don't want it to be over 20 minutes, so I assume 10 minutes on each should be enough, depending on the size. And if it's short, I can maybe get 3 in there, but yeah. And also, for people who watch our other stuff, our Smash stuff, and our Let's Plays, we're still doing those. Those have just been put on hold because those videos are on my hard drive, which the power source crapped out, so I need to get a new one for it. Anyways, today, before we start anything, I want to go back. This is the tutorial level from the first video, the intro. Somebody pointed out that this area should actually be like this, and that is actually absolutely right. That was just an oversight by me, and this is why I always... a suggestion, sorry, this is a suggestion I always advise people, is have other people play your levels. Because things that are super obvious to you might not be obvious to other people, so it's good to get other opinions. I usually put stuff up, I usually upload stuff, and I kind of, once people play it, I sort of check where people are dying, and how many stars I'm getting, and what comments I'm getting, and I sort of take it down and then adjust it and bring it back. But yes, this is actually a better design. You shouldn't really punish people right out of the start for not, you know, understanding right away. So you probably want to do this and then add a wall jump with no floor afterwards, so they sort of get the idea. Anyway, today we are going to be doing difficulty. That's a pretty hard subject, so I'm going to try and get it in one video. If not, there will be a part 2. But let's first start with a new level. 3, 2, 1. I'm gonna try to not pre-make levels for you guys, because I think the best way to teach is to actually watch other people's workflow instead of showing them the finished project and then explain what you were doing. Instead, watch as you work. Watch you just try things, fuck it up, retry, fuck it up. So, but I do have some examples I want to cover first. So there's this thing, this is just my theory, I know other people have other names for it, but I have this thing called difficulty versus the illusion of difficulty. And if you guys, I'm gonna use one of the games I play a lot as an example because they do this really wrong. I'm gonna, you know, in Smash 4, there's the classic mode. On hard, that is the illusion of difficulty. That's what I mean. It's not actually hard. They just cripple the player to make it unfair on them. So it's like, you take more launch, you take more damage, your teammates are incredibly, for the team battles, they're incredibly stupid. They're even lighter. They can get killed in 1 hit. So basically it's going to be like, if it's 2v2, it's pretty much 2-on-1. Free-for-all, the AI tends to gang up on you, and also they avoid things frame perfectly, so it makes it incredibly hard to hit them. And then on top of the stupid-ass items, that's just crippling difficult. That's not actually making the game harder. You could argue that the frame-perfect dodging is making it harder, yes, but I don't like the increased launch crap. Also, items tend to spawn right on top of them all the time. And a lot of the time, the game can just decide to kill you at random. But that's kind of what I mean. It's not hard, they're just crippling them. So, and how that's going to apply to a 2D platformer, let's take a look at an easy level and a hard level. So, going to load... We are going to get... I'll just use the remix for this. Where's 1.1 remix? Gonna use essentially the most, or arguably the most iconic first level ever. And so this is supposed to be an easy level. This is assuming the person playing has never played a Mario game before. So right out of the start, when we take a look at it, you know, okay, I can move. And then you got the first enemy. It's like, what do I do? Oh, I can do that. Or you can just jump over it and avoid it. I think Koopas were actually the original first enemy, but they changed it because it was a bit too hard. And you know, that introduces the idea of mushrooms hitting coin blocks. You know, you got the pipes here, so you got jumping, and obviously getting hit. Now you got 2 Goombas, so it gets a little harder. Now you got higher pipes. Then you got a bottomless pit, which you'll obviously jump. And if you don't, you'll learn the hard way then. Then you get falling Goombas. Extra mushroom. And then you get 2 routes. You can take the dangerous route, or you can take the safer route. Yeah, it's safer. And then again, 2 Goombas while you're jumping. And now you got a different enemy. So it's like, oh, okay, you jump on it, and it's like, oh, you hit the shells, and they move forward. Then you can get stars. Run through everything. It's still staying relatively easy and just introducing the idea of jumping and jumping on enemies. And then you got the flagpole, which is pretty easy to grab. You'll probably just walk into it if this was your first time playing Mario. But the idea is it essentially introduces you to most of the Mario concepts. Now, here's what I mean by making your level artificially difficult in a Mario game. So say you've designed 1-1. This is your introduction to Mario. Now say you go, oh, well, you know what? I want it harder. So you just start doing this. So you're like, alright, I'm just gonna start throwing Koopas on it. Let's take the mushroom out. Let's put a Wiggler in there. Let's put a couple Wigglers. What else should we have? Oh, let's introduce Hammer Bros already. Let's get them in there. Or a Hammer Bro. Where's Kamek? There we go. Let's get Kamek in there. I know, it's just a Kamek. There we go. So this is just like artificially making your game harder. Let's get rid of all the power-ups. No coin blocks, no star, none of this, no hidden blocks, we don't even use that. And see, look at this. So your level was like fundamentally designed to be easy and introduced the Mario concepts, but then you went and just took the design and just threw all this crap in it to make it harder, instead of sort of easing the player in. You're kind of doing too much right out of the start. So it's kind of making it unfair. Here's another example of, say, making it unfair. This would be a good example. Doing something, say, like that, or like that. I didn't know it had that on the remix, that's funny. Things like that. That's artificially making your level harder. It was designed to be easy, and then you threw enemies at it and removed power-ups until it got hard, instead of designing it to be hard but fair from the start. So, I will show. So let's go from the most iconic of first levels to its asshole younger brother that I recreated. 1-1 from Super Mario Bros. 2. Let's get this one. Now, I roughly recreated this. It's not perfect. I just threw it together for the sake of this tutorial. So, well, at the title screen of Super Mario 2, you can see this paratrooper right out the start, so you kind of get that idea ahead of time. But right out of the start, you get a fucking tough enemy, and I know in the original one he jumps higher. Next, you already have the red Koopas. I guess this is the safe environment, which they'll introduce you. You can find the hidden mushroom, which you probably won't the first time you touch this game. Which I'm going to put Dr. Mario, because that's better than Tetris. I'm gonna get hate comments. Then it does, well, there's no poison mushroom in this game, but you do the Goomba. Most people immediately want to go grab the poison mushroom. And this is where a lot of people get mad and think that's a shit design, but they liked the idea of poison mushrooms, and this is kind of a confusing thing, because the reason you put it in the beginning, I guess, is to teach you right away. Would you rather have it at the end of the level, where you get that bullshit death at the end, or would you rather learn in the beginning, so you can know later on, okay, don't fucking do that. Then next, we've already got piranha plants right out the start, and I died. Let's do that again. But so yeah, they're already throwing a ton of shit at the player right out of the start. Like you're not really eased into it. You already got piranha plants, red Koopa, paratroopa, poison mushroom, you know, regular Koopas, winged Koopas, these different routes and stuff like that. And then it teaches you right here, you're gonna walk up. That's kind of telling you your jumps have to be fucking precise. I know the first one's a tiny bit lenient, but it's still difficult as far as a first level goes. So you already got thrown into all these Koopas, piranha plants in almost every single pipe. Not many power-ups to go off of. But this level is not unfair, it's just hard. And that's kind of, there's a difference. And then the flagpole is harder to grab. I think it was a little farther in the actual game. But that's the idea. That they designed it to be hard right out of the start, so you know what to expect. Because if this is the first level, obviously you know it's going to get harder. Now, I don't like Mario 2's design later on, because that's where it starts to get utter bullshit, and it's trial and error, which I think is bad. But here, let me show you also another example of artificial difficulty. I don't know if any of you guys have played Super Mario Land on the Game Boy, but it does that. If you beat the game, you'll have a second hard mode. It's the exact same thing, but they threw more enemies in it, which isn't really making it more difficult per se. It's just sort of artificially inflating it instead of... You get what I mean at this point. So another thing you want to consider in your levels is if you want a hard level, you want a hard level to take skill. Let me actually erase this. The more randomness you put into your difficult level, the less skill it takes. More randomness equals less skill. So here's an example that I saw somebody do. That it was a cool concept, it was novel or whatever, but don't do this if you're trying to make like a hard level. He did that. And then he had the spring. And turn it sideways. With wings. Which they both, basically, like they both sat in there. And, no, that's the right one. Oops. Nope. I suck at this. Okay. And they had wings. And they basically, it was this over and over. And you had to climb to the top. Now that's fine, but it was pretty much random because they never came out on a set path. So even if you, with the most skill, if you lined up all your jumps precisely, and you got up there, it was still luck because you had to hope that the thing spawned right, and they had to spawn in the right place to get to the top, which was a cute concept, but it wasn't really hard. It was more luck. So what you guys want to do is you want designed difficulty, which is the good kind. You want to design your level hard from the start. And here's what I mean. I did put together... a demo level to better explain difficulty. Seeing as how where I am, this video is probably going to be 2 parts. This was a level, I can put the ID in the description. I can show what was done right and what was wrong with my own designs here. So, right out of the start, you get the horned, horned shell. So you know that's coming. Then you get propeller mushroom. If you don't, because it's not apparently, they come out like at a delay. So a lot of people, and here's what I could have done better. I should have had a coin trail down there that shows it's okay to go down there. Most people will try to jump for that first. Oh, too many of those spawned. Good. And you can get out of it with this. So this kind of puts that where it needs to be. If you lost your propeller mushroom up here, you don't have to go back. So they introduced ground pounding, because I want to add that in there. Again, with the horn shells. Now we combined ground pounding with the flight mushroom. And again, you gotta wait for it to come out. This is one part I don't like. Oh my god, I hate these pipes. That's what I don't like. They take forever. So then you obviously can see you can't jump, but the coins are sort of guiding you. So you use what you've learned earlier to do that. And you go away. Now, I don't know if I should have put coins here or not. I preferred not to. But see, there's also that ledge there, so if the player messes up, they can do it again. I actually needed that ledge so you can jump out, so it wasn't necessarily to make it easier. So then I used the coins here. This is sort of a break area. You should use, in your more difficult levels, I suggest using break areas. Like, let them get a second to breathe. A lot of people try to make hard levels, but the problem, what they do is, they make it a constant gauntlet of having to just constantly move and jump, and it's not good. You gotta have rest areas in between your challenges. And then the coins sort of indicate where to slide down, and where the coins end is sort of a indication to jump. Next, the only way you can go, obviously, is up with the propeller mushroom. So you do that. And then you sort of get, you know, we get the idea from here. The players probably figured it out by now, from everything they've done with the propeller mushroom this far. Now, if you did make it down without getting hit, I do leave a little incentive that you can barely see at the top of the screen. Just to look, do it. Then I show the blue platforms, which kind of blend in, which I don't like with this background. But you get the idea. So you're gonna jump that. Now there's a blue platform with the spike shell on it, which is slowly getting a bit harder. I didn't put a spike shell on the second one because that was something when you were in the middle of things, you couldn't see it coming, and I ended up running into it a lot. So next, the obvious option is you can see from here that there's a platform over there, so you want to go that way. And since you saw the blue platforms earlier, you know you got to jump off immediately. This is where it gets more unforgiving, where you have to be pretty precise. And then after that part, you add a rest area again. And then the coins, again, signaling to slide down again. At this point, you already know to use your propeller after your jump. And then one last challenge of getting down. And if you make it, you get the top of the flagpole. If you don't make it, you can't get the top. So just a reward for players that actually were able to do it without getting hit. The level's not perfect. I try to design it with a medium-ish challenge in mind. Nothing too hard. So, one other thing I do want to talk about, but I think I'm going to have to cover in the next video. I'm going to do difficulty curves. So next time I'm going to explain difficulty curves, which that video will probably be out in the same day. I don't think I should split them up that much.